Okay, people, you're welcome. My name is Nonso Chupunonse Mekeku, and this is Impact Plus. And tonight, all right, little lovely people back home, wherever you are, in your office, in your car, anywhere you are watching us. This is Impact Plus, and I remain Nonse Mekeku, and I have with me the gentleman who I go with. You know, when you are ready for a battle, you must have your armories. These are people I see as my armories in this journey. I'm speaking about Mr. Chris Makul Musu, a PRO expert and a politician and a media executive. So you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Chukunonso. Thank you, viewers. I'm happy to be here once again. Let's do justice to this.
Of course, I have also with me Barrister Isaac Obi, a constitutional lawyer based in Lagos. Barrister, you are welcome.
Good to be here once again, and good evening, viewers.
Barrister, once again, Nigeria Constitution is on test.
Yes.
A foreign prisoner has jackpot from our prison. And hands are pointing, nobody's taking responsibility. That's what we want to talk about today. The escape of BINANCE executive, his escape from what you might call a house arrest of some sort by the DSS and all that. We were told from what we read from courtesy of Premium Times, who carried it exclusively, that the man in question was I'm trying to struggle to get his name right, but he was said to have requested permission to go for a prayer during mosque, and then because it's what do you call it? It's a festive period, so he needed permission to go for a mosque prayer, and that permission was granted, and of course he was given 1 or 2 escorts, and then from there the man Jackba, the guy never came back. And today, we were told that he made his way to the airport. Other reports saying that he had a dual passport. That while the Nigerian government was holding his British passport, he made use of his Kenyan passport to pass through our borders, pass through our checkpoints, and then moved on. Although the government is still holding a what we might call a bragging right, and that's a second executive member of Binance still in custody. But then this has happened. And we will recall that this is not the first time we are having such high-profile foreign escape from our prison. I can still try to lay my hands on one of them. I'll let him get to inform us. So, sir, please, Barrister, let's look at a summary of this. What does this say about our security apparatus? Thank you very much, please.
Thank you very much, Chukunonso. On Friday, or rather, we are told that on the 26th of February, this particular director of Binance, 2 of them entered Nigeria and were held on in a private, in a guest house, they call it. On the 28th of February, we were told they were arraigned before a magistrate court in Abuja, who ordered that they be detained for 14 days. We were also told that within that 14 days, we were asked to produce the names of Nigerian citizens who were on the Binance net doing business. The question would be, why was it necessary for their detention? Why were they in Nigeria? You recall that the CBN has taken some steps against the cryptocurrency business that was thriving in Nigeria a year or two back, and has placed a ban on it. The philosophy behind that was that it was one business that was difficult to control. It was one business that the government was put in the dark as to who and who are involved in it. And the monies coming in, there was no control of that. You recall, in place of the cryptocurrency, the government tried to introduce the e-naira, just to serve as an attraction to Nigeria, as an option to this cryptocurrency. But whether that step made any impact at all is left for anyone to guess. Now, after the first 14 days, the order was not obeyed. And we understand the magistrate court made another, extended for another 14 days, ostensibly to stop them from tampering with the evidence that was the EFCC was trying to get at. Now, we were told that it was barely 24 hours to the charge being brought in now in the Federal High Court, which is the correct. The charges in the magistrate court were what we call holding charges, because the right court with jurisdiction to look at the matter was the Federal High Court. So the actual charge was now filed some 24 hours or thereabouts to when this young man eloped from the prison, from custody. Now, there is a similarity between what happened and what we have been lamenting about the Boko Haram phenomenon. How many people accompanied him to the mosque? That is the first question. Between the time he left the mosque and the time he boarded the flight that took him out of the country, at what point did the people who took him to the mosque discover that he was no more there? Was it long after he has left that they discovered that the man they brought to the mosque was no more with them? These are questions that call for quite some explanation. Why will somebody in custody, by Nigerian standard, why will somebody in custody be allowed free use of his telephone? We know that that is not common in Nigeria. So the entire episode points to the fact that there was a conspiracy from within. That can be the only plausible explanation to what happened, considering the fact that he was left with his phone. Even the other man, two of them were in this guest house. Why will a detainee be allowed access to his phone? And the question was, which passport will the DSS claim that they have custody of the British passport with which he was arrested? So which passport? How did he get the Kenya passport, which he was said to have used to take his flight?
Yeah.
So some of these questions have no answers, other than to conclude that it was a well laid out plan because of the way things are going in this country, because there are no consequences for serious breach of the law. People do whatever they want to do and go scot-free. This is what is primarily responsible for most of the things happening in this country. And that is why somebody will compromise such an important thing. A company that has threatened the security of the country by their business. It has threatened the economy of this country by their business. Is what a group of people will compromise and let the man go. We hope that the Interpol is after him and that they will get him to come back and then face the law. Of course, you are aware that even in the US, the company has even confessed to economic sabotage and have even accepted.
They paid some fine. They paid. Yeah.
Yes. So it goes without saying that it is clear what the man came to do. What did they come to Nigeria to do? Perhaps because the country has been notorious with having our public figures compromise very important positions. Perhaps it wasn't going the way he planned. And that may be why he has taken his flight. I'll let Chris come in. Subsequently, we'll dissect it more. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much for that strong submission. I take two things out of that place. The fact that Nigerian government try to win over Nigerians' confidence by creating an e-naira, which nobody touched it. People didn't touch it because nobody trusted it. There was no, the legitimacy, I keep saying about legitimacy. People are not comfortable with this government. And whatever print they bring, no matter the good intention of that act, they tend to turn their eyes away from it. That will come back to that. So, Chris, I would like you to look at this scenario.
Thank you very much, Nonso.
Yes, sir. Just give me a moment. Just give me a moment, sir. So, a man that is a company that is notorious have been caught in different countries and have go on to pay and negotiate a particular fund and paid in return for the damage they have caused the economy of that country, was invited to Nigeria. They came to Nigeria, like you try to hear the barristers try to summarize. The confidence that they will not be Nigeria, will go, but they came in and this is it. They didn't what they didn't expect is where they're going. And that's why they now had a plan B. And unfortunately, our authority is still not eagle-eye enough to hold forth. How can somebody go to mosque? Even if he's going to mosque, you send him to go along with a fellow religious person who will sit by his side during prayer. And after prayer, he comes out. He didn't come out of prayer 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour. You didn't search for him. Was he having a family meeting? Chris, I would like you to look at this in terms of international relationship. Yes, this is what we are not supposed to be. They came on invitation of the government, then they got arrested. That has been his own case. Now this has happened again. What does it tell? How does it tell about the confidence of foreigners to Nigeria government?
Well, thank you very much, Nonso. And I want to also profusely thank Barrister Obi for doing great justice to the background of this matter. And having done that, let me spare us the regurgitation of going back into the details. But I can tell you for certain that this is one of those moments when you're not proud to be called a Nigerian by any standard. This is one of those moments when the ills that have held this country down is brought once again to the fore. This is one of those moments when the entire world look at Nigeria and sees her as a laughing stock, because inexplicable developments take place in this country, arouse all the attention and elicits what could on the surface pass as seriousness on the part of the authorities, only for the momentum to die down and be forgotten as we, move on. The escape of Nadeem Anjawala, that's the name of the director that escaped. And he's actually the regional manager of BINANCE for Africa as a continent. I think his escape tells volume about the complicity, about the conspiracy, like Barrister Obi noted, internal complicities and internal conspiracies that Nigeria suffers as a country. And in the face of developments like this, you wonder why the government is wasting time talking about attracting foreign investors into the country. For crying out loud, which foreign investor will follow things like this and then wants to come and invest in Nigeria? What has happened portrays us as a country where, where law and order has taken flight completely. Because it's laughable. Number one, this entire saga also underscores how the average Nigerian has become a second-class citizen in his own country. Very significantly, Barrister Obi, perhaps in his wisdom as a lawyer, has underscored some of the absurdities that has attended this matter. First, even if as a Nigerian, once you arrive the police station and is to be taken into custody, the first things the police ask for are your phones. And in fact, you're almost striped bar to your pants, to your underpants. These are things that are done to ensure that you do not escape, because you cannot walk the street with your underpants. If you are by any means a customer, let me use that word in parentheses, to the EFCC or the DSS or all the other, anti-corruption agencies and, security agencies in Nigeria, you cannot be allowed to have your phone. In fact, if you're visiting a police command, a state police command, or any high police command in this country, except where you are either respected, maybe as a ranking journalist, maybe as a ranking lawyer, maybe as someone in government, the practice is that you deposit your telephones, mobile phones at the gates where they are labeled and kept. Now, if you say you arrested a culprit or a suspect, let me not use the word culprit, and you want to keep him in custody, like Barrister Obi noted, the only reason you want to do that is in order not to jeopardize investigations into whatever the kernel of the matter is. Now, what's the essence or what's the sense of keeping someone in custody and yet allowing him the use of his phone? You have not kept him in custody. We are living in a global village. Today, if you have your mobile phone, you have the world with you.
Yeah.
If the intention, as he rightly stated, is in order for Mr. Anjawala not to, interrupt investigations, and you allow him the use of his phone, you have given him all the implements that he needs to obstruct investigation. And it is the availability of that phone that also aided his escape from custody. Then the tendency is that if he doesn't have that phone, he wouldn't have escaped. That is very certain, because he couldn't have coordinated enough to warrant his escape. Now again, you begin to ask, there are far more notable Nigerians who have been held in custody, and they were not given the privilege of being held in a guest house. In fact, the only sort of prisoners that we can recall in recent history that are kept in guest houses are high-profile political prisoners. For example, when there's a coup d'etat in the country, you recall that Moshood Abiola, the late MKO, was held under, such circumstances for some time. You also recall that when there are coups in certain parts of Africa, the ousted president, if not killed in the process, is also kept in guest houses. But those are the kind of high-profile suspects or people, VIPs, that enjoy that benefit of being kept in guest houses. So, given the depth of the alleged infractions for which the BINANCE chiefs were held, what is even the sense in the first place in keeping them in a guest house? And now assuming that they are accorded that privilege, where is the sense in allowing the person to go to the mosque? Does it mean that he cannot pray? If he was in Kirikiri, would he have been allowed out there? He would pray, in whatever facility that is within there. So there was no sense in the first place in even allowing the man to go to the mosque. So all those talks and narrative are purely part of the conspiracy to let the man go. Today, what Nigerians have been told is that those in whose custody they were kept, I mean the guards guarding them, have been arrested and they have been taken in. The next thing is that you will not hear anything about it because this is high-profile developments. For example, we are all witnesses to the suspension of Beta Edu. I don't know if it's suspension still or if it's been removal, but we've not had anything about her in the recent time. And I can assure you that I will not be surprised as a Nigerian and in the Nigerian that we currently live in, if someday Beta Edu finds her way back to her, political office. So for me, this should be an embarrassing moment for Nigeria. And the embarrassment, goes beyond what the ordinary eye could see. For me, it is a sad tale for the administration's, a search for foreign investors. Not that the investors themselves, because I'm not saying that whatever the BINANCE chiefs are passing through will deter any investor from coming. But the fact that their arrests and detention could be so shabbily handled, leading to the escape of Mr. Anjawala, speaks volume to the laxities, to the leakages that are in the system. And no serious investor, except the queer ones amongst them, the illegitimate ones among them, would actually want to come and invest in an environment of the sort that we are discussing tonight. It's a very unfortunate development, and I think that it does more harm to the reputation of this country and the reputation of our security agencies and what have you. Sadly, the opposite of this whole thing is that this same Nigerian security agents will be posted out of this country onto international duties, and you see them excel, which is to say that it does not have to do with personal incompetence. It is a systemic issue here in Nigeria. Someone says that he does not know what there is in holding power in Nigeria, that most times, even when good men get there, they get corrupted by the system and they become who they are not. May God not allow Nigeria or every Nigeria to fall prey to that metamorphosis, sort of. I love to see the authorities really get down on this. Gladly, like Barrister Obi noted, one of the executive is still here with us, and let's hope that he would be ASAP transferred to a more guarded detention facility, since the order of court is still subsisting, pending when they are arraigned, and then whatever happens thereafter we'll take it from there. But it's a low. It's another low for Nigeria in so many fronts. A low, in terms of how things are done in this country, a low in terms of integrity, a low for the drive for foreign investments into the country. And I think it is high time people sit up, because at the end of the day, this is also an attestation to the suspicion that even the insecurity, the spread of insecurity, like we noted some in a previous edition, that we are having in this country, is thriving because of internal conspiracy. It's thriving because of lack of the political will to do what is right and to actually curb these issues. I think we've had a bad run for so long, and the authorities must do well to reverse the trend. Let me stop at that,
Okay.
and then we go further from there.
Okay, Barrister, I'd like you to look at this this scenario that I'm about to paint now. Issue, if you could remember during the election period or after the election, people were doing that. There was this tracking about INEC chairman and bribery and all that. The supposed money that was paid to INEC chairman was supposedly allegedly paid into his son's account. And the person that wired the money, account somewhere in France, the person that wired the money came from a top Lebanese company that had a kind of relationship and all that with the associates of the president and the rest of them. And then also there's been charges in the past, charges brought against some Lebanese companies in Nigeria that never go to see the daylight. What is it about us and Lebanese that we don't stand up to defend this country's integrity when it comes to them? Why do we have to always sell the nation just to please a few? Because this thing, like I'm saying now, has an upper hand involved. Barrister, just again look at this. Is it possible that this man would have gotten out of that prison without him not knowing of the DG of Nigerian prison and what's called Minister of Home Affairs and the rest of them, and he walked past through the international airport, that you and I know how they search us in and out and they won't see him? How?
Well, I had ended my intro by reiterating that it is all about the failure of the system. A system that does not punish anyone for any offense, even if it means taking innocent life. There was a point it became very common for a policeman to tell you he will waste you and nothing will happen. It became a slang. If you have any encounter with the police, he will threaten to kill you and that nothing will happen. And if he kills you, you find out that actually nothing will happen, depending on how his tentacles are. It is very, very, preposterous for anybody to expect that these things will happen. The discriminatory attitude against Nigerians is rooted in the fact that the regards which our politicians have for the citizens is nothing to write home about. They only come around when it is time for election, and the moment they are in that place, into power, they become your lord. They lord everything over you, not just politicians, even in civil servants. So it has become a cultural thing that all you need in Nigeria is to find yourself in a position where you serve, that service becomes to you something you do at your discretion. Whether, no, I mean, nobody supervises what you do to call you to order. You just carry on as if there is, I mean, there is nothing at stake at all. So the discriminatory attitude between the treatment of Nigerians and, I wouldn't say it's only Lebanese. Once a foreigner is involved in any situation and Nigerian is on the other side, you find out that the Nigerian is treated with so much disrespect.
Mm.
The foreigner receives all the cooperation he wants. Everything he needs, he gets at the beck and call, to the detriment of the Nigerian.
Mm.
So it still boils down to what we have. These are various angles of where these attitudes of even the common man has taken us to. Because something happens to you and nothing happens. If with impunity, the Nigerian can deal with it. We can go to many extent and cite instances of several things where people do what is detrimental to this country. What is detrimental to the public interest. And there are no consequences. People take decisions in high places without thinking of how those decisions trickle down to the fate of the common man. And the last time we just finished discuss, our last episode was on the Niger Delta issue. The issue is that whoever gave the direction for the army to go on that mission, what homework did they do to make sure that what occurred did not occur? When you handle positions of authority, it calls for serious caution.
Mm.
And so for a man who has in his custody a suspect to have granted that he goes for what do you call it? For
Prayer.
For prayers. I mean, they say it's in the spirit of Ramadan. Why would that prayer not be held in such facilities? Why wouldn't it be held there? We all know of a typical attitude of, the Muslim towards prayers.
Yeah.
You know that they hold it anywhere. They hold it anywhere. He can hold it in his market store. He can hold it on the way. Once that time comes, he goes to the comfortable place and holds his prayer. But this one has to be taken out. A man who is facing such an allegation, 4 counts charges of tax evasion for a country that is battling with the economy. EFCC suddenly lost all their seriousness, all their fierce attitude. It is only when it gets to Nigeria that you see EFCC at their best. So the discriminatory attitude towards Nigerians when it comes to our relationship with our leaders is so condemnable. It's so condemnable. And this accounts to the kind of reception which Nigerians get abroad. It is because our leaders are treating us with impunity. That is why we are not what we should be worth when we travel abroad. That is why our hosts in most countries treat us with even greater contempt, because we are not worth anything even within our boundaries. Our leaders don't take us to worth anything.
Yeah.
The common Igbo adage says that if your stuff is common to you, then you don't expect an outsider to attach any value to your to whatever you have. So this has been the trend. It didn't start today. And we have looked forward to the day when Nigerians will receive the adequate treatment which they deserve, being Nigerians who are stationed in Nigeria. This preference to foreigners should stop. It should stop. And some of them are taking it for granted. You read even in some foreign companies, you see the treatment they met out to their employees who are Nigerians. It is a feedback. This is a development from some of these things we see. Some companies who employ Nigerians locally here treat them with so much impunity, deny them their fundamental rights, deal with them in such a manner that you wonder if this happens to a Nigerian in his country, an expatriate treating a fellow Nigerian the way he's treating it, then you imagine what would happen to him if he were outside this country. So it is what has led to all we are seeing, that the preference for a foreigner over a Nigerian has been what has kept us where we are. And it will keep costing us so much until we turn a new leaf and know that a citizen in some countries, if you shed the blood of an Israeli here in Nigeria, they will trace you down to the place. Shed the blood of an American, they will trace you and locate where and then take their revenge. But Nigerians are killed every day all over the country, all over the world.
Yeah.
What has your country done? Your embassies are located in those countries for mere academic purpose, because there is the provision of the law to locate an embassy. They are not serving any embassies. I asked the other day, if we have ministries of foreign affairs and we have embassies, we still have the one they call a diaspora commission, whatever that means. What is the impact of all this on the lives of Nigerians outside this country then? So it is very unfortunate that we keep seeing these things. Our people will never learn. And this is why people are saying that something drastic must happen in this country until people understand that you are any place of authority does not make you superior to me. We are all Nigerians. We are all Nigerians, and we exercise similar. The Constitution has made us all equal. Even God has made us equal. But people, once they are sent to one position of authority, decide to suppress the other person. We all can't be in places of authority at the same time. So why will Nigerian authorities not value the life of a Nigerian? Why will it be only when the foreigner is involved that is giving him first? You see them, even those that happen to be taken to the proper custodies, you see the treatment they are given. They are given the best cells. They are given all they need to feel comfortable. But once Nigerians are involved, the discrimination sets in, because he is completely powerless. He has nothing. He cannot fight back. There's not any attempt to fight back will be suppressed by whatever is available to them. So my answer to what you're saying is that it is a cultural thing that has grown in this country over time. I can't remember a time when a Nigerian received what he deserved or any respect from the hands of the people in authority. They will need it when they are asking for your votes, but the moment they get in there, they forget. What's still that even the people in authority, the civil servants and all that, are helping to make these situations worse, just because they are in positions where you go to them to render one service or the other. You see the distinction between government establishments and private establishments. If you go to private establishments, you will receive the best courtesy you can think of. But go to any government office, he's telling you you don't teach him his work, and he attends to you the way he likes, very arrogantly. So it has come, it is with us. We pray that someday Nigerians who are victims of these things will rise up and say, never again must we be treated the way we are treated. If we accept it, abroad, we must not accept it right here in Nigeria.
Okay.
Thank you, Nonso.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Barrister. You have once again taken us on a mirror view of this whole thing, deeper than we even anticipated on it, because the country, I don't know how to look at my country, Nigeria, because everybody seems to be, look, this is my zone. I will run them as I want, because best way they are running on, so I must survive. That's the template, you know, and that's what is happening here. That's what you will see at play here. But Sir Chris, I still come back to you based on the international relationship aspect of it. A country without security, without a safe border, that militants, whatever comes in and out, declares people, once it picks people, releases them. I heard that Kaduna State government has taken delivery of the 200 students that was kidnapped. They don't do them for free. You and I know that it was not done for free. And then this one is happening. And recently also, there's a news flying around that the government has placed some 92 people on a wanted list by the country. And you can't hold a prisoner who is in a house arrest. And you're not adding, is that a distraction? You're adding that you want to capture secessionists and all that and all that and all that. This thing, all this whole thing, where do we stand as a country? Because public relation wise or international relation wise has norms. There are things that are expected of you, that even the judicial aspect of it, which international justice in Hague, if I may say, the Barrister is here to look at it very well and say, okay, this man now, especially the one that is in prison now, I think the man now will now have a bragging right to start flying and promoting for his release. And he's unjustly arrested and all that. And now this country is back on the dark spot. What are we saying about how does it tell on our international relationship with other countries? Is it that we don't have good foreign affairs ministry to really you've got captured an international prisoner. Why don't you follow the decorum or the new ways of doing things to get this thing investigated? Do whatever you want to do and let's sort it out. Because we're going through the back door, the nation reputation is being dented every day as we speak.
Well, thank you once again, Nonso. At the risk of repeating myself, I think, like I said emphatically in my opener, the optics are very bad. The optics are extremely, extremely bad for the country. And those are not the kind of optics that Nigeria requires at the moment, or that the world should be seeing of Nigeria at the moment, because we're in very perilous times. Perilous times in the sense that at the risk of sounding despondent, nothing is working. I am one man who chooses my words when I appear, on forums like this. But sometimes you are, forced to speak truth to power. You are forced not to paint words, because when you say things as they are, then both the authorities and observers alike would be able to comprehend the enormity of the challenges on hand.